Continue with Morning Glory this morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us again. It's a very beautiful morning, a bit chilly, but well, here we are. And today, in this particular hour, we have very, very special guests, but also as someone who has been, I'll testify later, who has been part of a strike before, who has witnessed a strike, but also who has been watching the news TV, and unless you've been living under a rock, strikes have been happening across the country. One that happened because manual was not shown in school. It has become a sort of a topical discussion, and we need to discuss it today. And with me this morning, I have very, very special guests to discuss this particular topic. I have Mr. Tumusime Kenneth. And I will let them introduce themselves. They have very high profiles. I may miss one thing there and I get in trouble. But my other guest is Dr. Mukwanason, HYUHA. I have pronounced it well, right? Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you the audience. I'll start with you, Mr. Sime. Who are you? What do you do? So that the people, the viewers, get a more clear vision of who they are listening.
Yeah, I'm Kenneth Sime. I'm civil. Yeah, first son to the late Humphrey in civil. I happen to have authored a book managing causes of strikes in secondary schools. Yeah, I'm a physical planner by profession, and directly in line with this subject matter, I belong to an association called Uganda Textbook Academic and Non-Fiction Authors. Okay. I'm also a listening lecturer once in a while a waste management consultant. That summarizes it since I'm not a teacher by profession. Yeah. Yeah, but I come in the capacity of representing our family.
Okay. And I'll bank more on that to give people context of what exactly we're talking about, and I know it will be in the book area. Yes, Doctor. For the people who don't know who you are, who are you? Doctor, medical, or yeah?
I am Mukwanason HYUHA, Professor of Economics. Yeah. I was once academic registrar at KEDRACE University. Yeah. Also, I was Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Kampala International University. Yeah. But I also worked for an organization called the African Economic Science Consortium, with headquarters in Nairobi, which kind of runs programs for research and teaching programs for sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah. So right from Senegal to Cape Town, and I was in charge of the PhD program.
Yo. Hey. Yes. So for the benefit of our viewers, now I hope you have a clearer version of the people who are before us, and I'll start with you, Kenneth. Why we are here? Why we are discussing this? And the book that you're talking about, which I have in my hands, by the way, authored by Humphrey KB. You will tell me those names. Humphrey KB Ahimbisibwe, managing causes of strikes in secondary schools. And yeah, so give me a little bit of background on this particular book.
My late dad, Humphrey Ahimbisibwe, worked in a number of schools before he retired. Yeah. He began with Chevambe Girls, where he was teaching physics and mathematics. Then he went to Nyakasura School, where he was head of physics department. But while he was there was a strike that happened in that very school. And he participated in managing what was taking place in that school.
Yeah.
So over years, because I started teaching in around 1977, because that's when he left university as a young man, and immediately started teaching. And from there, he was moved to Nyanji Girls in around 1982. I think, if I can recollect the information well, the physics class in A-level he pioneered it. And he still was head of department there, left Nyanji Girls to Kashaka Girls, where he became the head teacher first time. That was around 1987. And even there in Kashaka Girls, there was a strike.
There was a strike as well.
To be managed. Then he moved towards 89. He moved to Ruhinda Secondary, where he spent 1 month. And he was moved back to Nyanji, where he had been deputy. Actually served as the first male head teacher. The only male head teacher that has served that school. And there had been a strike. He came in to
manage
that
it.
issue. Then was moved in 1992 to Mutiera High School, where he encountered several strikes. But the major ones, of course, there had been strikes before. The major ones were in 1994 and 96. So with that experience, after his retirement, of course, in Mutiera High School, he served for 11 years, and then moved to Ntare School, where he retired from 2013. Yeah. After retiring, he got time to write his book on strikes. So it comes out of his master's thesis. For the master's program he did at BYRON University of Science and Technology. The topic was possible causes of strikes in secondary schools, a case study of Southwestern region. So a selected number of schools, about 8 to 10 schools were picked on. So out of that, he added on his experience and had to write this. But that was the whole background. Saying he had gone through it, he had experienced it, he had participated in managing the strikes. And if he had an opportunity, he would have done. But besides that, he didn't tell you more about his relationship with the late Humphrey. I think he has known him since since 1969 or something like that. But they had been friends since then. So, and he's the one who read the entire book. I was given that opportunity to handle that. So he edited the entire book. He wrote the foreword for the book. Is in better position to actually talk about the summary of the content in that book. So that's what I can really say. What inspired him was, of course, he loved education as an educationist. That's when he got time to write, having also served on the board of UNEP for a number of years and other institutions. So that's the reason he wrote, so that he sends out a message to educationists on how they can handle the issue of strikes in school community.
That is true. Thank you so much for sharing that sort of background. Now we understand who Mr. Humphrey was, and maybe to carry on that conversation to you, Doctor. What was your relationship with Mr. Humphrey, but also why is this particular topic very, very key? Particularly, why was it very key to him as a person, but also why is it key for us, particularly as a country, for us to focus on and to talk about strikes in secondary school?
As you heard, we met, Humphrey and I met at Ntare School in the 60s. Fortunately, we even shared the same room, in the same dormitory at Ntare School.
Which house were we in?
It was then called Stanley House. It's now called the Pioneer House. And we were in room 4 together. And even the Nasasiras and others were also in the same room. Somehow we struck friendship, which went beyond the normal friendship, in the sense that he would visit me. I'm from Tareja, so he would visit me in Tareja, I would visit him. To the extent that my Christmas holiday, 1969, I actually went and spent in his village, Umbe, okay, with his family and so on. Then I also went to Umbile a number of times. One of them was when the then Minister of Education, where Manya Mshega lost his dad, and I went for the burial and so on. So the point is that we became not only friends, but also brothers. We went through the Kinyakole customs, whereby I was assimilated into the family. Okay. This one is my son, just like you were son of Humphrey, and so on. So that's the relationship. That from then, whenever he came actually to Kampala, when he was in all those schools, he would actually stay with me in my place. Okay? And whenever I went to Mbarara, I would stay with him. So it was that
you were friends.
Yeah, that
very, very close
brotherhood. Okay? You see, even if you are blood brothers, without friendship, the brotherhood can't last. You don't want to be artificial. Okay? It's when there is friendship that it lasts that much. Now, as far as the book is concerned, I visited him, saying in Montreal, when there had just been a strike. And he actually narrated the story, how he narrowly escaped, and so on. Okay. He also did his master's, as they had said, on the same topic at MAST. And then, when he wrote, he knew that I would be in a position to do what? To
forward the book.
Not only to forward, to edit. Actually, I did the editing of the whole thing, read, edited, and so on. After doing that, that's when he asked me to write the forward. And then the forward, if you read it, what happened was, when we were in entire school, there was two of us with another, unfortunately, the late Kisimba Masiko. We tried to organize a strike at entire school. Okay. But miserably failed. Okay, which gives me a lot of background to this. Okay. Yes. Why did we fail? It's because the headmaster handled it extremely well. Because I went and invited the headmaster. We are complaining about food. I did tell him the topic. We need to meet you at 8 in the main hall. This was a Mzungu headmaster. Okay. He came. He actually turned up. Another headmaster would say, what are they calling me for? But this guy came and said, okay, tell me what the problem is. So, since I was the ringleader.
You were the ringleader, you said, okay, now this is our problem.
I told him everything. The food is not that good, or everybody is not satisfied. And all I said, I didn't know, okay. Let's see. The next morning, everything had changed. Hey. Very good food, okay. And there was no reason, my reasons for striking.
For striking were dissolved.
Dissolved, okay. And Humphrey was part of the group, okay.
Part of the ringleaders?
No, not part of the, but those who were supporting.
Were supporting.
Since it was my brother and
yes,
friend.
Like, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm with you, and so on. Yeah.
Okay.
So, when he told me to write a forward, I knew I was writing on something which I was very familiar with. Yeah. And the entire school had this started actually in 1956. This was 1969, and there had never been any strike. Okay? Yeah. Why? Because of good management of the headmaster. The headmaster, you do this, immediately is there. He finds you in the town, you are not allowed to be in Mbarara. He will just call you, HYUHA come. You enter his base, he drives you to the university, to the school. Nothing. That is all. But you become so careful that you don't do it again. Rather than what? Not only that, Stanley House was near the edge of the school. Down you, about 100 meters away, there were people actually brewing Muramba, Tonto, and so many things. Always drinking, making noise. None of us ever crossed, even at night, to go to the university. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not because there were guards There were no guides. It's just the discipline they had instilled into us. That's why when he talks about the reasons, like talking to students and listening to their problems, and then I understand, okay? I understood exactly what he was saying. Yeah.
Okay. That is a very, very good background. I will just tell you that I was also in Pioneer Room 4. So we are really very similar.
That's true.
Very, very true. I was, okay, it wasn't called Stanley, clearly, because me, I'm 66. I don't think I was thought about. Yes, but I was also in Pioneer Room 4, and I'll tell you that, anyway, I think things, have changed, but for us, we also still near the fence, which was the farm really, I think, but also we were near a place, same really, brewing alcohol.
I don't know what they were Mshekura down there. It was Mshekura's place, always brewing
and whatnot. And well, some people of course escaped, but it was really, there was some sort of discipline of, but those are very, very interesting conversations there, and we're going to go in for a very short break. But when we come back, I want us to talk more about the book, what's the plan, when are they launching it, but also why again the causes of strikes in schools, and why this topic is relevant now because of the nature of our schools currently. But let's go in for a break. We'll be right back with more here at Church of Uganda Family TV.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's Talk is an uncensored program on Family TV that attempts to answer questions that are unanswered within our church settings. Questions like sex and money, drugs and alcoholism, prophecy and prophets in our country. So, catch us at 9 p.m. every Tuesday on Family TV as we explore different topics and make attempts to answer the different life topics. Every Tuesday with me, Manuel Odeke. Let's talk.
Brethren, yes, we can. We can clear the debt of church house. And I want to invite you to give generously to the love gift. May God bless you as you give.
With 200 million people aged between 15 and 24, Africa has the youngest population in the world. This can either be an opportunity or a ticking time bomb. At Young and Flourishing Hub, we seek to turn these numbers into an opportunity for Africa to become a global leader. Join us every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. only on Church of Uganda Family TV, as we take you through the discussion of different topics that will enable you to become world-class leaders and mentors, grow your finances, and become world-class innovators. Young and Flourishing, transforming Africa.
has gone to another level, and that's why you see creativity each day in the art industry.
Here we come with a purpose, what will bring you arts and culture, topical discussion, and the soul entertainment.
Tune in every Saturday from midday to 1 p.m. here on Touch of Uganda Family TV, courtesy of Mercy
and Rita, the purpose, refreshing your mind.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for waking up with us.
Good morning, our people. Let me hope you're waking up this morning.
Follow us on our social media platforms. That is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That is at Church of Uganda Family TV. That is COU Family TV on all our social media platforms with the hashtag Morning Glory. Right, about 25 minutes to the top of the hour, 9 a.m. here at Church of Uganda Family TV. Thank you so much again for staying with us. We continue the discussion and the conversation on managing strikes and what are the managing and the causes of strikes in schools. Now, joining us this morning, we have someone new who I'm pretty excited about, Dr. KEDRACE TuryagyeNDA, and we are going to continue the conversation with him, but also, of course, joining us as well is Mr. Kenneth Ahimisiwe as well, right? Kenneth Tumsime Ahimisiwe, and Dr. MKWANASON, HYUHA.
When I finished university with my chemistry, mathematics, and my teaching diploma, I was posted to BYRON Girls Senior Secondary School. Very enthusiastic to go back because I was an old grad there for my O levels, and they had just started A level, and so I was happy to go back and really help the girls with their science. And the first person they introduced me to in the science department was Mr. Ahimisiwe, because he was head of physics at BYRON then. And his family lived there. It was one of the few families. Those days, a lot of teachers were single. There were still some children, but there were few families, and his family was there. So I'm happy to be with Kenneth. And now with the board head, can you imagine? Because there were little boys, and so. Starts when you start work. So this time it was so helpful in helping me to know how do you handle the girls, how do you handle the subject, how do you, and because I was the only one now doing chemistry at A level, I was made head of department straight away. Right. And so he was head of physics and I was head of chemistry, and we worked very, very closely together. And after that we made friends.
Okay. All right. I think also for the benefit of those who are watching and are thinking, I've seen Dr. KEDRACE. Where is it? Anyway, just for context really, who are you and what do you do?
I work with Ministry of Education and Sports as the director for the Directorate of Education Standards. And I am also very actively involved with the All Saints Cathedral. The head of laity, or they call it the chief warden. And I'm also a canon of Kampala Diocese.
All right.
So I appear quite a bit, and of course now as seniors, so many young people have seen me.
That's why I said that people might be there thinking, but I've seen her somewhere. I think now they get the context. Before the break, of course, we were talking with the gentleman. One of the things that led to this book, the history and whatnot, and we ended up finding out that me and Dr. HYUHA, we went to the same school, same dorm, same room. So we are hobbies from Mutare School.
Wow.
But also, why, I think I want to ask you the question of why is it important now, the conversation on the causes of strikes? One, what are the causes of strikes? I mean, just the recent strike, at least that was in the papers, was in the north where people were striking because of a football game. They didn't show it. They said we are going to strike. But I'm sure there are much more, even apart from what Mr. Humphrey shares in the book. I'm sure there are other causes of strikes that I think, as parents, I want to think, oh, we don't understand children. They're like, you strike for football. I think in their mind, for food, they're like, how do you do that? But what are the actual causes of strikes in schools?
Thank you very much for that question. I'm really looking forward to reading that book. Because a few years after I had joined BYRON, I was picked out of class to go and start a school as a head teacher, high school. And I remember there were no phones then, there were these landlines. And very few people had them. So I remember Mr. Hemsube writing to me 3 weeks later and saying, how is your school? Which was non-existent until you arrived there. I'll never forget that statement. And which was the truth, because it was non-existent until I arrived. So I was a head teacher for about 3 years before I went, when I got married and went to Kavala, I joined National Teachers College, trained teachers before I came to ministry as a commissioner for standard secondary and then nowadays. So the causes of strikes, as you are saying, are very many. But I think from my own experience, I had gone through school without experiencing any strike in the schools where I attended. Because I did my O-levels in BYRON, were peaceful, life was normal, everything was there. And we didn't see any cause for strike. And then I joined Namagunga for my A-levels. And again, the school was stable, everything. So by the time I started leading the school, I had not experienced any strike. And I kind of thought, all schools should really be peaceful. However, over the years, the strikes have become many and very disturbing, and some of the factors that you ask eventually and you get, as you are saying, to you as an adult, you think, really? Should this happen? You know, ban an office in Tare school just because of whatever. So anyway, one of the key things that causes strikes is really the age of secondary education. They are from 13 to 18. And that's a very, very difficult age. There's everything changing in this young person. The body is changing. Socially, he's beginning to think different. You were a child up 12 years, you are now transiting into the turbulence of the waters before you can become an adult. So that age is quite fragile. It's very, very delicate. Psychologically, things are happening. Young people, both girls and boys, are beginning to feel we exist. We should be recognized. You know, we are here. You know, we are all that matters actually. Everything should, you know, circle around me. My father should give me pocket money. If he doesn't, I can decide not to attend class. That kind of thinking. And it's not their fault. It's a certain stage in growth.
That age.
And eventually, we the adults fail to appreciate it. We think we've paid fees for you, you should be at school, you're supporting, you're eating well, your school idea now gives 5 meals. Indeed.
I didn't know, but when was that anyway?
No, I hear now. But here it is, so the parent thinks everything is okay, I've paid all the fees, the food is there, there's tea, there's everything, so you should study. But this young man is sitting there in class and thinking, this head teacher doesn't even say hello to us. Doesn't he realize we exist? Are these teachers who just come in class and abuse us there, do they know that we are important? So a lot of things really oscillate around there. So we fail to connect with the children we are now dealing with as leaders. And a lot of schools, head teachers fail to connect with that. And they fail to use the systems that exist, because the Ministry of Education provides for both the prefectorial, but also the council. Now those are very important. By the time especially the ministry put council, it was very important that the schools involve these learners in their own processes, in their own learning, in their own leadership, in handling their own problems, because they seem to understand them better. And so a lot of times the elders, the leadership, the head teacher, the staff, I think that the children should do it as they think. So that difference, that misunderstanding eventually causes a lot of the strikes. They refuse food, they are hungry, they refuse food, just because nobody has informed them that the prices have now gone up, and so we can't afford the ban at break tea. And yet we have the prefectorial and we have the councillors per class. So if the management, the school leadership and management recognize the importance of that group, shared with them when they are few and they understand, and then they will go and share with their people whom they represent, and that will probably save us a lot of these strikes. So basically it's that, but of course also they are being introduced to very dangerous habits. Some have been introduced a bit of drinking, some are taking drugs, some are doing things that they are exploring again. The age, they are exploring everything, and so they come out and they are high. They think the world is there for them. And so why should the head teacher, listen to? Why should the gate man not allow me in? So it flows to that. So a lot of things really, to me now that I'm a parent and grandparent, oscillate around that age.
I want to hear from Dr. HYUHA a little bit in terms of there are these causes, but also I think when I was in Chari, there was one of the reasons we striked. There was a point where we striked was there are these differences we have with other schools. Mtari doesn't like Mbarara High or BYRON. I don't know if BYRON and Mary Hill, something like that. Yes, there are also these, yes, young people call it beef. There's beef between some schools in terms of there are some differences we had. One, did they exist in the 1960s, but also, even as you answer that, why is this topic particularly important now? Why should we have a conversation about this topic now?
Yeah, those differences have always been there. For instance, there have always been differences between Intare School and Mbarara High School. To the extent you was calling them the cows, those cows. So we didn't respect them that much. Then their standards were lower when it came to exams. Ours would have many passing, O level, A level, and they would not match our standards. So it was a way, they knew that. So as a result, they also did not like us. They thought we were too boastful, and so on. Then there was Mary Hill, compared to BYRON. Mary Hill was a bit conservative, obviously being a Catholic school. Even when they were going around, they want students to have exercise. They would actually march, even past entire school, with a nun in front, a nun in between, a nun behind. That's right. So, compared to BYRON, whenever we had organized dances, BYRON would actually invite, but that's what they will come, and that's why we coined that word BYRON. That's right. And so on. So those have been there, but they were not so much of causes of strikes. They didn't. When we were kind of planning to strike, it would not be any of those characteristics at all. Now, she has talked about the age groups, but there is also the conditions of the school, okay? I went to entire school, I think, in the 90s. And I think there was a headmaster then, I won't mention his name, but he had come from Budo, okay? He had been a student of Budo. Then I went to Stanley House, Pioneer House. Then those stairs near Mbaguta House, they were all broken. No repair, nothing. I went to Pioneer House, and there was grass all over, cobwebs all over, okay? I was with the headmaster. I said, look, what is the problem? I said, oh, you know, they are not giving us enough money. I said, do you need money to get rid of these cobwebs? And students start complaining, okay? We are living in a slum or that, because of those, okay? So that's why the word management here should be stressed. The way you manage a school. Entire school under the first headmaster, who was there to about 69, William Crichton, was such that we basically did not have rules. They taught us
to discipline, like self-control.
Self-control. Nobody even told you read. But when it was about exam time, we made sure we read on our own. One would wake up, I don't know whether you are doing it, around 4 a.m. we called it Zibunda. You go and read, so as to beat others, okay? And so on, okay? Then on Saturday you clean the house, everybody, okay? In the morning, you have a parade around 11. After that you are free. Nobody cares whether you are there for lunch or for supper. No, you are free, okay? And when you do something wrong, the headmaster, for senior 1 and senior 2, Crichton was always referring to these smaller boys. I don't talk to boys, okay? You would only talk to senior people, okay? You senior people talk to these boys. And that brings in Humphrey. Because when smaller boys came in, there was a system, informal, of attachment. So Humphrey and Vamshavile, another one, became my sons, okay? You mentor them actually, okay? You are the one to tell them what to do, what not to do, and so on and so on. There was no bullying, you don't bully. Because that's the other thing which causes problems, bullying in schools. We didn't have any bullying at all. You just mentor this person, and when he sometimes cleans clothes for you, it's voluntary. It's not compulsory, okay? And so on. So when students are free, they actually taught, they teach themselves how to look after themselves without, you know, there's something psychological. Tell me don't do this. Somehow something in me will say, why? Let me do it and see. But once you find yourself out to yourself that this is not a good thing, you will not do it. And that's what Crichton actually taught us, okay? And that's why I told you when I tried to organize a strike, I miserably failed. Is it unfortunate or fortunate? Whatever.
Fortunate. Failed. And I think it's what Humphrey carried on.
That's right. Yeah.
In terms of, because I remember he was also my head teacher, and I remember he made it clear, it's like, by the way, S1, S2, please talk to your seniors. Even then, there was that sort of relationship, by the way, and whoever you were attached to, or whichever person was responsible for you, come, have you washed? Why are you dirty today? Did you shower? It was real. I don't need to run to the head teacher.
That even before you look for somebody who has not bathed. And as a room of about 16 people, you say you have not bathed today. You say, you go, you accompany him with soap today. That's right, okay? But if it was the headmaster or the prefect was doing that, people would have resented, okay? But it's because your fellow students, then you don't resent that type of administration.
Which really goes into the management of the strikes.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Mr. Yuha has brought up something very important.
Yes.
Every community has a culture. And that culture, whether it's a family or community or school, they have a culture. Now, when that culture is kind of thrown aside, then you start getting problems. What is talked about, the independence with which they had. My husband happens to be a 6-year Antari person. Okay. So the first time we passed by when they were trying to make a fence around the school, he was so mad. He said, "What are they trying to do to our school?" And I said, well, things have changed. Yeah. I think the current students now need to know where they stop. Yeah. But the culture of having the kind of thing he was talking about, kind of having a brotherhood between the younger and the older. One gives these younger ones who are full of energy, you know, S1, S2 especially, 2, 3, gives them a fallback position. It gives them a brother, you know, to run to, and a kind of a feeling he's watching me, he's near. Of course, as a head teacher in a school now, I hear there are 1,000 something. You'd never ever do that. You can't manage. You will not be able to manage. But when you have that culture of the older ones being in charge, but also the older ones who are put in charge now feel responsible. You are being trained to be responsible, to take charge, to care for, which is a great thing you move with into life anyway. So school cultures are very, very important, and in many schools now they don't seem to have something they are holding on to and saying, this is us. We are Ntare school. This is how we do it. Yeah, so that is very critical. When you say it, I thought I should just
especially that fence. That fence, we had the fundraising in academy hall. All the boys of entire school, even the president was there. Okay. Then we were fundraising. I contributed, and I contributed with words. I'm contributing, but I don't want this money to go to building a fence. Because if you build a fence, it means administration has power to control them as they use to control us. Okay. Yeah. So I was also opposed. Up to now, I'm opposed to fences.
Our time is really, really running. I want us to talk about the book. And Mr. Kenneth, tell us more about the book. I know it's not yet out, right? When is it coming out? I know there should be a lecture as well on top of the book launch. When is that happening, and how is it happening?
Okay, this book launch is scheduled for the 13th of May at 2 p.m. from 2 to 7 p.m.
2 to 7 p.m.
2 European time. You know, I'm not talking about African time. Myself and my late dad, we are people of who keep time. When it is 8, it is 8. So it is 2 p.m. and I know teachers for being good at timekeeping. He wrote this book for the school administrators. So we are inviting the vice chancellors, and by the way, it is in Mbarara City, not Kampala City. No. Mbarara City.
A city there.
Yes, we are a city. And being an urban planner, I really emphasize well-planned city. So at Aditmore, all the roads lead there, but we have a Zoom option for those who will not be able. We are well prepared for it, and it can be accessed through UTANA website. They are handling that on our behalf. UTANA Uganda, that's Uganda Textbook Academic and Non-Fiction Authors. In Teacher's House. So they are handling that. If you go online, you should be able to register online. You will receive that. The chief guest will be the Right Reverend Dr. Sheldon Amwisigwa, the Bishop of Ankwere Diocese and Chancellor of Bishop Stewart University, who was a deputy at Ntare School at some time and is also a teacher by profession. And the keynote speaker will be Professor HYUHA MUKWANASON. Among the guest speakers will be Dr. KEDRACE TURYAGYENDA with us here. Others is Mr. Philbert Baguma, the General Secretary UNATU, We have Associate Professor Ngonzi, the Dean Faculty of Medicine, BYRON University.
Yeah.
We have Honorable Amanya Mshega, former Minister of Education. We'll have Associate Professor Misha Katusime, Dean Faculty of Social Sciences in Kabale University. So that's how we've prepared the event. You can't miss out on that. The book is ready, but we've not yet printed enough copies. So we are and we also have the online version for the book. We'll register it with the Amazon. But as far as editing and everything is ready, and watch out, probably early next week or late this week, we'll have details about the book in the New Vision full page. So someone is working on the book review about it.
And where to get it from and how much it will be.
The book will be 30,000, and it will be available. We intend to work with UNATU across the country, so all UNATU offices you'll be able to access, and all the bookshops in Uganda. So we have an arrangement to handle that after the launch. But even at the launch, we'll have copies available for sale.
Definitely. Friends, thank you so much for coming. I'm just going to give you a few seconds, about 10 minutes, a few seconds really, just your last words. Here I usually encourage all my guests to end with a sort of encouragement for those who are watching out there, who are looking at us and they're thinking, but for me, I want to strike because of these things, or I feel like these things should happen. But also really encouragement with the current condition. We all know one of the reasons for striking is high school fees. I also read that today also in the Daily Monitor that schools are going to increase their fees because of the high prices of things, for parents who are thinking where are we going to start from. So really encourage the people who are watching, but also your last words. I'll start with you.
Thank you very much. I hope my seconds will just be seconds. One of the things we need, and I'm glad this is Family TV, is the family to do its part. Because a lot of values that we go out with schools, eventually we pick them from home. So I want to appeal to ourselves as parents to not just leave it to school, but to do our part. But secondly, for the head teachers and school managers, to really love these children and show them that you love them and that they matter. What Dr. HYUHA was talking about, my husband keeps referring to Crichton all the time. He just loved these boys then. He just loved them and showed them that they mattered and that he cared for them. So I think really to me, having been a head teacher, having been married to a head teacher, having lived in a head teacher's home, I think that's the secret. Mr. Insugwe would be there teaching his physics. Even when he was so busy, he would never miss a lesson. He loved his students. He wanted them to progress. And who would not love that kind of head teacher? Who would want to stone him?
That's true. Thank you so much, Mr. Kennedy.
By the way, I'm also a parent. I have my firstborn is 14 years, so I've started to see this. So I will really re-emphasize that parents have a role. A child that is about to strike, you will have seen them from home. And primary school teachers should emphasize this. If we deal with the character in primary and in our homes, then we will not see strikes in secondary schools, in universities, at the higher places. I will insist, we are emphasizing this. The vice chancellors are invited for this event. The academic registrars are invited. For the head teachers, the teachers, anyone in school administration, and please come along with a few prefects in your schools or student leaders. They need to. Maybe the guild president and they need to. So that's the last message I can give. As a parent, really we need to do something to mold our children into what they should be.
I agree. Charity really actually begins at home.
By the way, the topic, the book is on says secondary schools.
Yes.
But if you read it and you think deeply, it applies across all educational institutions.
Even universities.
Even universities. Fortunately, I've been in a number of universities, KIU, Makerere, and all sub-Saharan African universities I've been to. When I was in Nairobi, I was in charge of a program controlling all of them, and so on. So, the attendance, we should encourage even university students, university professors, and everybody to attend, because it's relevant to them. when it comes to management, exactly what causes strikes in Makerere, in a KIU, exactly the same reason.
Yeah, the same reasons.
The same reasons, okay? Yeah, so they should all be able to attend. Lastly, managers should look, first identify the stakeholders. That a school does not belong to headmaster alone, or teachers alone, or students alone, or parents alone. All these stakeholders are extremely important in the running of the school. You neglect one section, you neglect, for instance, teachers. They will be the ones to argue students to strike. You see? So should Crichton managed everybody, including the teachers. They were so free with us to do anything, and that's how he managed that school. I always give him as my example of a good manager of a school, okay? That one. And yet he had been a military man. You know that he was in the Second World War, yes. A military man, but very, very liberal and so on, okay? And so managers must be aware, must read this book, attend the launching, and make sure they spread the gospel around, okay? Once you follow whatever is there, because there are recommendations and whatever, I'm very sure you'll hardly have a strike in your school. You don't, it is at your own.
Maybe we need to also thank you on behalf of the Humphrey and Sibwe family and the organizing team. I must say thank you very much to the management of Family TV for offering us an opportunity to share this to the world. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. Just maybe one last thing, if they need more information on this particular memorial election book launch, where do they go? Is there some, how do they get in touch with you, or is there a social media page they can go to for that?
We are working closely with UTANA. UTANA is Uganda Textbook Academic and Non-Fiction Authors Association. We are going to liaise with them to send on the platforms and social media so that whatever is needed can be found there on their platform.
I'm tempted to ask Dr. HYUHA to come up with a module of training school managers and manage it, you know, because a lot of our people become managers in courts with no basic training on how to manage.
That's right.
So that's something you can think about.
There we go. Yeah, I said no problem.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I will just mention that you can also follow us on our social media platforms and be there as well. I'm sure we will be in big support of the memorial lecture and the book launch on managing causes of strikes in secondary schools by Mr. Humphrey Siwe. Thank you again, friends, for coming. We'll see you again tomorrow in the morning, 7 a.m. here at Church of Uganda Family TV. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for waking up with us.
Good morning, our people. Let me hope you're waking up this morning.
Follow us on our social media platforms. That is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That is at Church of Uganda Family TV. That is COU Family TV on all our social media platforms with the hashtag Morning Glory.